All right, guys, part two. Number 15, how can you write your answer from question 14 as a decimal? So for 14, we had 46 over 100, and we have to write that as a decimal, so that would be 0 and 46 hundredths. All right, number 16. The U.S. Senate, Washington, D.C. has 100 elected members. Last year, 46 senators ran for re-election. What decimal is equivalent to 46 over 100? 6 over 100. And what do you know? It's 46 hundredths. All right, now we have to complete the table. So we have bills and coins. We have money. We have fraction. And we have decimal. All right, so this is kind of all over the place, and the cool thing is when you're filling this in on your test, use what's already given even in other places, and that's going to give you hints to fill in the areas that aren't done yet. So this one starts with 8 pennies, and then there's an 8 over 100, and it's 0.08. So now I have to write this as a dollar amount. So 8 pennies, 8 over 100, or 8 hundredths is going to be written. Don't forget your dollar sign. That's how you say 8 cents. Okay, for the next one, it has bills and coins not filled out. Here, some little lines there. So I have. Remember, guys, these two are going to be the same, just one's got a dollar sign in it. That's it. All right, so I have 50 cents here. How am I going to write that? As a fraction, it could be 5 tenths or 50 100ths. And if I want to write this as bills and coins, we can write this as 2 quarters. We could write it as 5 dimes. You can write it as 50 pennies. Please don't do that. That's cheap. You could write, 10 nickels. You could do a combination, a quarter and 5 nickels. There's a lot of things you could do. All right, now we have the fraction given, 90 over 100, or 9 tenths, and it gives us the decimal, 0.90. Now remember, decimal and money is going to be the same thing. Just have to add the dollar sign. So I'm going to put the same thing as what's right over there. And now for bills and coins, you could say 9 dimes. You could say 2 quarters and 4 dimes. A whole bunch of different combinations you could do for that. And then finally, it gives us 4 $1 bills and 5 pennies. So how am I going to write that as a dollar amount? Well, dollar sign, $4.05. Remember, 5 pennies is going to be 5 hundredths. So make sure you're not putting 4.5 because that would be $4.50. Okay, or we can write this as a mixed number, 4 and 5 hundredths, or 4.05. And here's your chart. Then we have a number line. We have 5.0, 6.0. We have here is 5 and 5 tenths. So, all right, it's not to scale. But you have to pick what's here. And that will be 5 and 6 tenths, because the number line is broken up into tenths between 5 holes and 6 holes. All right. 25 and 28. Now, I didn't get to do this lesson with you. This was one of the couple that we had after we started remote learning. but I would just encourage you to line everything up. And we did do this briefly with other lessons of comparing. So it says 0.21 is less than 0.27 or 27 hundredths, okay? The easiest way that I would do this, I would put my 0.27, and then, okay, the 2's are the same, so we'll go over to the next column, okay? 1 is less than 7, so we know that that's the larger one. The alligator is going for the larger number, so we know that that is true. 27 hundredths is larger than 21 hundredths. Lining them up makes it so much easier. Okay, the next one, 0.4 or 0.4 tenths greater than 0.45. Okay, this one's going to be false. If I line them up, 0.45, 0.4. Remember, we could just add zeros, and then if I'm checking place value, the 4's are the same, go to the next one. 5 is larger than 0, so we know that's larger. Since the alligator is pointing that way, we know that that is false. All right, we have $3.21 is greater than 0.2. Okay, well, if we line that one up, you don't even have to go past the first place. 3 is larger than 0. Boom, done. Okay, so that one is going to be true. And then finally we have 1.9 or 1 9/10 is less than 1 90 hundredths, true or false? Well, they're trying to trick you on this one because they're actually the same, right? If we line it up, 1.9, 1.9, and we can keep adding zeros, that's equal. So that statement is false. All right. Now I get to draw some more grids, that's awesome. Steve is measuring the growth of a tree. He drew this model to show the tree's growth in meters. What fraction, mixed number, or decimal does the model show? Mark all that apply. Okay, I'm going to pretend this is filled in with 100. There we go. Yeah, that one wasn't too bad. And we have 2 whole rows filled out, 2 tenths, and then almost 1, 2, 8. Okay, so what we're showing here is 1 whole and 28 over 100. So that's one of your answers that you should have checked, and you should also have 1.28. Okay. All right, last couple problems. Home stretch. Jean lives 0.4 miles from school. Kate lives 0.31 miles from school. Who lives closer to the school? So here's Jean. Here's Kate. They're actually going to school, so they're very happy to not be remote learning. Okay, Jean lives 0.4 miles from school. Kate lives 0.31. So 0 and 4 tenths for Jean, 0 and 31 hundredths. Okay, who lives closer to school? So if we're looking at who lives closer, we actually want the smaller number. Okay, so 31, if we line them up, four after the decimal is larger than 3. And we know that Kate is going to live closer to the school because she has the smaller decimal. Okay, now it wants us to write each decimal as a fraction. So we can write this as 4 tenths, just like it says right there. Or if we wanted to say that as a hundredth, we could do 40 hundredths. And then for Kate, 31 hundredths as a decimal, 31 hundredths as a fraction. And finally it says Gene is walking to school to get a book he forgot. Then he is walking to Kate's house. Will he walk more than a mile or less than a mile? Explain. Okay, so this is actually already done for you. We already converted 4/10 into 40 hundredths here. So I can do 40 hundredths. That's him walking to school. Now he's going to go to Kate's house. We have 31 hundredths. And if I add, since I have common denominators, I can just add the numerators. 40 plus 31 is 71 hundredths. There you go, 100.